Okay, hey everybody, this is Grace. In this video, I just had some thoughts, and it led to a trail of thoughts. Yeah, trail. But, it was about, Adam had done something that really bugs me about his family. His family members, the ones I have met, are really, really bad about doing this. And this goes back 40 years. The first time I ever saw anybody do it in my whole life. And, you know, like I've said before, they're from a different country, so it's a totally different kind of culture than my own. They're from a country across the globe, okay, on the other side of the globe. And, basically, kind of, sort of. But, and what it was that, you know, Adam and I got married when I was 18, so that was a long time ago, over 40 years. And, one set of his family, one set of his cousins, just one of them, they were real close. They grew up together they were in the same house for a long while, as, you know, the cousins. And the whole family, and each one. And so they grew up together, real close, family. And all of them, pretty much every one of them that I have ever met, I haven't met all of them, I've met everyone in his family, let me think, but I haven't met the next generation, all of them, yeah. And the same holds true for the other side too, the cousins. But anyway, they have some rules. They're the ones that are the actually people, you know, after every sentence, no matter whether it's their subject, their topic that they have their voices of authority on, it doesn't matter to them. I'm talking every sentence that comes out of a person's mouth. When they're in that mood, they will say, or it will be implied, and actually, and they say what they think that it is. In their minds, they know that it is, and they're wrong. Okay? I mean, like, the subject said, I taught at college and university. They're wrong. But in their mind, everything any person says that is not within their loop is actually, okay, that's the one very, extremely irritating thing. It's very abusive too. I'm going to say it flat out, it is. If you have a person who's constantly telling you you're wrong, yeah, that's not good. Believe me, that's not good. And anyway, but another thing the first thing that I really saw that they did, but besides one of his female cousins, was to, she had an American, white American, well, yeah, he's a Jewish guy. Jewishes are actually considered more, when I was a student, back then there was thought of as their own ethnic group, and it wasn't about race. It was about, you know, when I was a student, we didn't talk about race. That was too wrong. Seriously, it was. You just didn't call it race. It's ethnicity. So anyway, an ethnic group. Anyway, he wasn't like her. At first, she was like, she didn't even want to look at me like I didn't exist. But once she realized, you know, once we got married, she became friendly, and it was a difference. But there's one thing that she did, and her sister and her mother. I'm really not sure which ones of them were doing it, if it was all of them or not. But they would come into our home, and I was the one who did most of the kitchen, you know, most of the cooking. And they would want to cook their meals for, you know, Adam. I don't cook those meals, that type of meal. And he doesn't either, so he can't teach me all that. Back then, that was, like I said, 40 years ago, we didn't have the internet to look it all up. So that she would kind of, you know, I knew it was, part of it was her, which is coming to my home. And while she's cooking, she started rearranging things in my kitchen. I'm saying my because I did most, if not all back then, of the cooking. Okay, if you're a person who does most or all, of course it's your kitchen, yours and your spouse. But in this kind of situation, I don't have a problem with anybody saying my kitchen, because that's how it's seen. That is, it's seen as if the people doing it are really focusing on you. You see, if they're focusing on, they're going to teach you how you should put things. I'm saying literally, take things like plates and move them to another spot. Okay, or his sister did this when she visited back in 2017, and she was in the country for like 6 months, starting in October 2017. And so 2017, 2018. That way, she rearranged my. I'm always mispronounce this. Cutlery. no matter how I even know how it's spelled, but I will mispronounce it. Oh my goodness. But she rearranged things in the drawers to the way she wanted them. I'm telling you, I got so tired of her, and Adam is too passive, and he doesn't like to confront anybody like that in his family. And I was not my circus, not my monkeys all the time, and I got so angry I left. I seriously did, and I got him on the phone, and I laid into him about it. I wasn't going to do around them, but I laid into him about all that, and I left for 10 days, stayed in a hotel, had myself a vacation. Well, guess what? She is coming back this year. You know, the one that invited her daughter, or one of her daughters, to come and stay with us, and she didn't even ask us. She told one of his brothers this was going to happen. Didn't talk to Adam. These people step over all kinds of boundaries. Maybe I should just say that. These are people who step over all boundaries. Any one of them they can. They invite themselves over, and not, and so that particular daughter could get herself situated for university, and the university isn't here, so we had to wait until she got a place to live, her own place to live, and she came at so close to registration that there was no way she was going to get a dorm, and on and on and on, and it was just like, and then that daughter, she's an adult, she's not a young adult. That one is, oh boy. And to me, I see it. I see what's going on. Of course, because my degrees are in psychology and sociology at Taught College and University. I was a career student over 20 years, learning everything I could about this subject, about human behavior, basically, all the way around. It's really about the human condition, human behavior, so on and so forth. That includes history, government, a little bit of law pertaining to certain subjects within this, on and on, both undergraduate and graduate school. So I really won't even know what I know, and I do know it. So, oh my goodness, and seeing these things, and they kept trying to push some of them off to culture, and I will say that there are some cultures, the things that we in the United States, our culture might be, that we have a lot of people from a lot of backgrounds, so it would be many people in this culture, if you could call it one. You see, that's very hard. Let's throw in the law, and that kind of, what is law? Some people, where they grew up is not the law. But what we may see as narcissistic, they don't see it that way. That's just a common thing. It's just due to culture. And they're not always their culture, only certain people. You see what I'm saying? Certain ethnicities. So they have some people that disagree, from different ethnicities that do not agree with them. So, but the majority, yeah. Some things we see as bad, downright bad. I mean, who goes into somebody's house and changes anything around? Anything, changes it, moves it to where they think is more appropriate. Especially like if you're the cook and you need things where you know where they are, you put them in a certain place for ease of cooking and ease of whatever it is in the kitchen, of knowing, or even buying groceries, where look for certain items. These are people, his family members, the ones I'm thinking of, oh, they just change it all around. They will even go and do things like this. Like his sister had stayed with us for a while, and she was one, she'd sit in the kitchen, the nook, breakfast nook, where the kitchen, you see right there, it's all open. And she would watch everything I do. Everything in my kitchen. Like I said our, but, you know, I already went through all that. And I'm like, and she'd ask me, why do you eat that? Why do you eat that? I mean, this woman, oh my goodness, like I said, I got so tired of it, I left. My blood pressure was sky high when that happened, and I watched it for a while. It was unbelievably high by that time. No, I mean, it was not my circus, not my monkeys, and if I were to say something, who knows, you know, because he's that weak. I'll put it flat out. I mean, I'm blaming the victim, so strike that. He is as much a victim as them, but I was especially. And he wouldn't be there to see it. He was working away from home, so his sister was doing it while he was away. I mean, she did stuff like, she would cook for him because, you know, like, as was their norm, is that they cook that meal when it's a group of them around one another, and I don't cook that. I just like, I'm a horrible cook as it is. I really am. So, hey, cool. If you want to cook for him, I eat my own, what I want, you know. I don't care, go ahead. But don't change my kitchen around. You know, and don't decide when is dinner. When are meals? It's not up to you. You see what I'm saying? They were so just bossy, intrusive. They were so, you know, each one of them, she determined that it was 7 o'clock was when we were supposed to eat dinner. I don't care what you say, woman. You eat when you want to eat. You do not tell me what to do. This is them versus Texan woman. I'm not saying all Texas women are tough, stern, direct. You do not do that to me. I will let you know. But many, yes. Yeah, we're not really good about, I mean, I'm not saying all, but remember, it's not a one size fits all. But the ones that I know who are like no, we are not good at somebody telling us how we're going to be. Seriously. So, you know, sometimes I do wonder, when is my mouth going to really get me in trouble? Like that doctor. The one who grew up in the country next to it, and he made sure he told me that when he said that Adam's people, he's talking ethnicity, are sneaky. You know, yours are, misogynistic? Because that's the one that told me I could answer only in one-word sentences. While he sat there and talked about himself and made himself look so wonderful. And Adam could say all he wanted to. Oh my God. Oh, disgusting POS. Ooh, I'm using that word, but yeah, let's skip that. But yeah, anyway, so his sister, that same sister, she's between my age and him, she's coming here again for 6 months. And she has 2 other brothers that live in this country. One is in Texas, one is not. And she can go visit them because, no, you're not staying in our home 6 months. But what she's planning on is to stay with her daughter in her place. Well, her daughter has a roommate, okay? And that roommate might not appreciate that. And I think she has a roommate by now. But, the one that had stayed with us, that she invited to stay with us, plus one of her other daughters is coming with her with a 2-year-old. Okay. A 2-year-old. Now, I love kids. I talk, I have worked with kids all from, I had my own at one time daycare center. It was very brief because I moved, but I just had started up. But everything through all the way, I have taught all the way through senior at university. Okay, all those levels I've taught at some point in my life. Seriously, all of them. The other one they call me a visiting teacher, but it's a substitute teacher. but they also visiting teacher because I did teach at college and university. So, you see, kids, adults, whatever, I don't have a problem with people, except unless, of course, they're like this. I really, I don't hate people. Sometimes I get angry enough, but I don't like to generalize. It's specific people, what they do. And it's really not hate, it's just like, for real? Really now? You doing what? Oh, come on. Seriously? Like this. And like I said, I'm Texan woman, kind that I am. Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to go into the store. I'm going to go get some eggs, boiled eggs. I like their boiled eggs. Put them in my salad. My salads. I have a salad and a half every day. Seriously. I can hardly eat anything. I can't eat meals. I cannot eat a meal. Because of my health, I cannot eat a meal. Like anybody, many, I should say, do. I can't. Seriously. Anyway, I'll be right back. Okay, I went in there to get some boiled eggs because I ran out of boiled eggs. And they come in a package of 2. It's like $1.60 something for each. And I like them. They don't have much sodium, if at all. Let me see what they have on it. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Cholesterol is way high, but I don't eat the yolk. So, the sodium is 5% for both 2 eggs. That's not bad. For me, to me. I'm not saying anybody else. I'm not saying anybody else, and I'm not a healthcare professional. I do not give any form of advice. No advice, none of it. Nothing I say, even if it sounds like it, it's not advice. Anyway, read the disclaimers in the description box below this video on YouTube. Anyway, speaking of which, I went in there and the cooler, I guess, I don't know what you call them, their shelves, and they had the air, blowing on the stuff, I guess, and it stays cool. It was broken. I was like, oh no, the reason I came out here. So I asked a young woman in there who was working, the ones that do the pizzas and stuff, and she said, that's broken. She said, but she was real nice, real sweet. She said, I'm gonna go back. She goes, I might have some in the back. And she said, I'll go look. And she did. She had a whole box. And I got 5 packages of them. So it was really nice. And then I got up to and she was an African American, and the guy in the front, he was, see, I had always in the past used Anglo-American, or white. And when I was a student, we didn't do color. That was inappropriate to do colors, to describe people. It was inappropriate. It was thought of as bad. I have a feeling it's probably still thought of as bad. But online and such, that's what you hear. You always hear white, brown, black, so on. That was inappropriate. And to me it is. But anyway, now I'm white. He was white like me. Okay, that's just a way. I really, honestly, do not like that. I would just say Anglo, which is not exactly 100% certain, but who knows. Anyway, he is. And he's probably like, I'd say maximum maybe 30, and he was real nice, and he was saying, how are you? I said, I'm great, how are you? He says, well, I'm wonderful, and he was saying, jumping around kind of practically. I said, it must be close the time for you to go home. But when I started speaking, I was stuttering. Not stuttering, but, kind of like that. No, it wasn't. It was just somewhat of a stutter, but not exactly. And I've known this for a while now, that I'm hardly ever around anybody from my own ethnic group. Seriously. And that has been pretty much my whole adulthood. I've said that I've been around people from other cultures, other countries. Most of my adulthood, I am, and I'm not saying one country, I'm saying plural, countries and cultures. And I'm hardly ever around someone from my own. Seriously. I'm hardly ever around Texans. And I'm living in Texas. I am Texan. I was born and raised in Texas. I'm hardly ever around anybody who's Texan, even in stores. Now, I can assume they're both from Texas, and I can assume that, but I don't know that. But, yeah, anyway. Anyway. But with him, with Adams and his family, there was also a language barrier. Not with Adam. But sometimes, even though he's been in this country, I don't know, 50-something, 60, I don't know how long, about 60, but 50 maybe, years, and still have a language barrier. A little bit of it, very tiny. And then sometimes you may hear me go into great detail to explain something very simple. And that's one of the reasons. But also my mother and her parents, when I was young, her parents, both of them had dementia. And then my mother had dementia. I guess how many years later was that? Oh boy. I'd say 40 years later, I don't know. And I would have to repeat myself with her until it finally got into her a little longer than short-term memory. And kind of went over her short-term memory into her longer-term memory. And I'd have to repeat myself over and over. And these days, I'm running across this when I go into a store or something. And not just that kind of thing happening, but if I'm on the phone with people, I don't, like yesterday morning happened. It was a guy, probably 30, 35, and he, there was no accent other than from, that I've ever heard of, other than from the USA. I'm gonna put it that way. Okay, no other accent than that, and he couldn't understand me. Adam said he was probably working from home and higher than a kite. That could possibly be. We don't know that. We don't know. I don't know. But Adam always comes up with something like, oh, they're TikToking and they're on that TikTok thing and they saw one of those challenges. There are some challenges out there. I don't do TikTok. I think I do. Still, I had a count on it, but I think I used to put one up once. In all these years, and then same thing for, I don't know if I still have it on anything other than YouTube, Facebook, the older ones, and but anyway, he comes up with something like if people driving down the road, he says, oh, they're watching their TikTok videos, and that's why they're not going, they're just sitting there at the light, and the thing about it is you can, at some point in some of these, you can see that they're looking at their phone. They literally are looking at their phone. So what they're looking at, who knows? But he's the one, I sometimes mention because he says these, and I think they're kind of funny when he says some of them are funny, some of them are right on target. But that's his thing, just to come up with reasons why people are doing things like that, or they just don't understand what I'm saying. Repeatedly, and I find myself saying things in many different ways to try to get people to understand me, no matter what ethnic group, my own, and any of them. People can't seem to understand me. This is not my real voice. I'm sure you know that. This is a This is a voice changer, voice. So from the app from KindMaster. Woman. It's called Woman, and I am a woman. I just use woman. But I like the way it sounds. I don't like the way my voice sounds. That is not my voice. It just does not sound like me. So, anyway, I'm rambling here. Sorry that you're hearing the air conditioner, but right now it's 100 degrees. Yesterday, it got up to 107 when it was 104. The heat index, the real feel, was 115. And so who knows what it was once it reached 107. What was the real feel? I have no idea. But it was freaking hot. I was asleep during the time. I had fallen asleep. Let's see if I can get out of here. Probably not anytime soon. So much air construction. But anyway, like I was saying, Adam's sister, the one, she's a big troublemaker. Flat out. She has been known to be a troublemaker in her family. Okay, and he would tell me, He says, well, we know how to handle her when she gets like that. I said, yeah, but you don't have a language barrier. Okay, so seriously, she could, and I think she did, pretend that she didn't understand me when she did. It was just her game. She was full of games. Seriously, just unbelievable. Even with the language barrier, you can tell when people start moving your crap around, and they go into your room, and you tell them, or things like you tell them, I have chemical allergies. Don't wear perfume. You know, please don't wear perfume. Please don't spray a lot of, this. Just like her daughter did, the one that she invited here without asking us. She made sure she put on as much as possible one day. Adam jumped all over her about. There was a one time Adam actually said something to her. He walked in the front door from work and he said, "What is that smell?" And man, he was livid, and he should have told her off. He should have all along. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, all that stuff. But I know I would have. I would not let somebody do that to anybody. I don't care who the person is. Somebody saying that's quite psycho. It is quite psycho. And her daughter did the same thing. Her adult daughter, one of them. And so they're coming this year, and I'm not going to be there. I'm not. I've had plans. And I don't like that because his sister is so manipulative. She might actually try all kinds of stuff while I'm gone. Cause to wreak havoc on my life. To go through stuff. I mean, there's nothing, I'm not talking about something that she would find I'm doing anything illegal because I'm not. But this is a woman who could cause, she gets a thrill out of causing people harm. She might, who knows, switch my medicines around. I don't know. I'm not going to say that. But for somebody who goes as far as for somebody to say, do not do this because I have allergies. And she goes and does it, and he tells her too. She doesn't care. Okay, that's a dangerous person. That's a dangerous person. And so was her daughter, in my view. When I stood right there and I told her, and she was going, I get it. Okay. She goes upstairs and this adult daughter goes upstairs and sprays. She had seen a gnat, a dead gnat. So she had to use a whole bottle of bug spray. Right when I told her not to do anything like that, and then she covered it up with, she didn't cover it up, she tried to, with Lysol. Okay, come on, people. Are you that much of an idiot? I mean, is she an idiot? Are both of them idiots? They can't understand. Do not spray these things because it could literally kill me. I mean, come on. To me, that's psycho. And I've told Adam that more repeatedly. I don't want to be around this woman. These are people who do not care about anybody else. I mean, I am serious. I am very serious. And by the way, Adam is the one who told me when his sister was here before that I should make videos, and I put him on one particular channel, which I might do with this one, or I put this one right now, and then that one, from after that, put it back on the other ones. But, that other one, and anyway, it's just unbelievable what his family members do. They stomp over all boundaries. They don't care if somebody gets harmed or even killed by what their actions. They don't care. And, oh my, unbelievable. But they're going to be here. And that daughter, when she comes here, she's only going to be here for why is my alarm going on? But anyway, she's only going to be here for 2 weeks with the 2-year-old, and I don't want to be here during any of it. So I'm thinking about I'm doing these deliveries so I can get health insurance, affordable, doing air quotes, but it actually is affordable. Now, before it was not affordable, so I have to work a certain amount, earn a certain amount of money in order to get it. Okay, affordable. And anyway. I think what I'm going to do is something I have wanted to do, but I didn't have a reason to, or something I could do to kind of offset it. I don't know. I don't really need to offset. I have some money I could use for something like this, and that is to just take vacation. But hey, if I'm going to be going somewhere and I want to take a long vacation, the whole time that she is in my house, The Wicked Witch of the East. I don't even know if you'd call it East, but I'm going to say it's opposite of West. Yeah, it is a lot opposite of West. A lot opposite. Actually, it would be considered, I think, much East. But, anyway, I don't want to be around. I do not want to be around her. I do not want my life at all tainted by this crazy woman again. And what I was going to talk about is what is called Don't Speak Ill of the Dead. But you know, I even looked this up. But I've always been like, these are people who could have ruined your life to some extent, caused you all kinds of problems. I am an example. My health condition is due to an abusive childhood, and they're both dead. Okay? And it's basically put it all behind them. That's impossible when every day, several times a day, like I was saying, I can't eat meals. It's because of them. My health condition is due to because of them. You see, I mean, I can go in deeper into that, so don't just take it at that value. But yeah, I can go into much deeper about it. I've had to learn how to deal with these things. But anyway, that's what I was going to talk about. And some people, they just think that that means forever. No, I looked it up and then, yeah, I agree. It's just for right then. You know, nobody's around me, by the way. They're just right when they die, shortly after. And then one of them actually said, I mean, I just Googled it, so I don't know who it was that said it. And it said something about if that were the case, and I totally agree, we would have nothing called history. If we didn't speak ill of the dead, would we have much history? You know, like in a class, say you go to your history class. Would we have that kind of history? Or any kind of history? Would we have any knowledge of our history? Of our nation's history? Of our people? Of our whatever? Would we have? Could we learn from the past if we can't talk about it? And then some. And then some. Yeah. Okay. But anyway. This is a discussion. No, it's not a discussion because there's nobody out there to go back and forth with. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up and I'm going to go home and have my salad. Talk to you on another video.